Hi everyone, this is a new episode of the journey around the world, and also interviews with disruptors. And today I have a really great guy, an amazing disruptor, also a leader, an artist, a change maker, a change agent, a true leader, and a guy who is impacting in a lot of people and is changing lives. Here I have Fosta, DJ Fosta. What's your real name?
My real name is Thulani Headman.
Thulani Headman.
Thulani Headman. Yeah.
Thulani Headman / Aka, as known as DJ Fosta.
Yeah.
Fosta, thanks for the chance to interview you and ask you some questions, establishing a conversation about the change is happening here in South Africa, in Langa, your career, how you see the world, or what is going next, your implication with Bridges for Music, which we are now finally in the Bridges for Music Academy.
Yeah, right.
Here in Langa, in Cape Town. This is the journey around the world where I interview disruptors, people who is changing the things that really matters, and people who is making it happen. And here you have Fosta.
Yeah.
Fosta.
Thanks for having me.
No, I mean, it's our pleasure. We met we met personally 3 years ago, in before Africa Born, and then in Africa Born we established a
great relationship,
a really deep bond, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Fosta, how do you? What's been your, by far so far? What's been your highlights? Where did you get started? How was your childhood? What's been your key milestones?
Sure. I mean,
from then up until now.
Yeah, I mean, my key milestones, I think they date back to 2005. You know, when I kind of like started my own record label, and I started my own record label back in 2005.
2005.
And it was actually quite a period from 2005 up until 2009, because that's when things started shaping up for me personally, and not for me, but I mean for the community of Langa, because now they had something that they could relate to, you know, something that's coming out from the community, which was doing great stuff. And I mean, this was actually just before my downsides of life, I would say, because prior to that, you know, growing in a community like this, and also being a teenager, my life was kind of like in a bad situation where I got caught up in the wrong side of things. And basically, and that's when I kind of like ended up in prison as well.
In prison?
Prior to that. That was
for how long?
I mean, I was in prison for like 4 or 5 years. And after that, I think during my time, I mean, I would say it was a downside of mine, but it was also a great learning for me, because that's actually where my life changed around. And that was actually one of my pushes. That's when I realized that I needed to come out of it and become something.
And we retake the interview from here because it was starting get noisy, because a lot of people is visiting the school, the academy, because it's finished. A lot of brand sponsors, like mentors, people who is involved. So, Fosta, let's retake the question. We were talking about your key milestones in life, and you were saying that you were started your own record label in 2005. That was the bright side, that you got caught up in a negative circle, and then you ended up 5 years in prison.
Yeah, actually, so actually the prison life was actually prior to me opening the record label, because around...
How old were you by that time?
I think I was like 16, 15, 14, around somewhere in those ages. And me being caught up in the wrong side of things, this happened around like 2000. The year 2000, 2001. And I ended up in prison, you know, for some time. And while I was in prison, that's where I think I had time to myself, and to basically listen to myself and start having to change my life, because while I was in prison, I told myself that, look, I mean, when I come out, you know, to back to the community, I needed to do a change. I needed to be that change, in fact, you know, to the community and inspire more kids, because I had something that not everyone had. You know, I had the talent of producing music, of knowing music, you know. And I think it's something also that you feel as a person inside, that you could do better, you could become this different person. And also to try and avoid other young kids from going through the same steps that I have experienced. You know, because I mean, coming from a disadvantaged community, you know, there's a lot that one can get up, you know, or caught up into, you know, doing bad stuff and that. Another thing that was lacking in our community is role models that we could relate to. So I felt that I could be that, you know, the change and be that person, that I would do something basically out of what I'm God-given as my talent, and try to change that into something good, you know, and inspire others, you know. And yeah.
How was it's an impressive story? When did you find that you were talented for music?
I mean,
how?
How? Actually, I come from a musical background family. My father being a musician, he used to play piano, and I always wanted to play piano like him, but because of his work, and my mom never wanted me to be in the music industry, because I think it's basically based around the experiences that they had, you know, having my father as a musician, and she always wanted me to be an academic, you know, but I guess like if that's not what you're born for, you can never force yourself to. Exactly. And I mean, my father used to practice with my uncles, and almost my whole family from my father's side has been around the music industry. I've got my two late uncles as well, my late father as well being a musician. And I mean, back in the days, they created a huge story, which they were one of the first musical bands to be recognized in Cape Town, and they're also known as the jazz pioneers. Wow. And I guess in my life, I always wanted to do more than what they had done, you know. And I mean, me building my own career as Fosta, I never used my family name, because I kind of like felt that I needed to build my own castle, you know. Only after, you know, the little achievements that I got, I started, you know, talking about my family or where I come from. But yeah, I mean, even prior to me getting arrested, I was producing music. And
how was the first time you find out that you were born for house, deep, electronic music, jazz?
Well,
you played
different genres. I mean, like, I come from a jazz, you know, background, and I grew up listening to jazz because my dad was always jazz. But also the music around before the period of 1994 here in South Africa was always related to the struggles of fighting the apartheid times that South Africa, And around 1996, there was this new genre of music, which was now Kwaito, which was also reflecting to the youth of South Africa. And
what was the name?
Kwaito music.
Kwaito.
Yeah, so Kwaito music basically was one of those genres that was created to celebrate, you know, our achievements overcoming the apartheid times. Because prior to that, the type of music that was created was always about sending a message of fighting or trying to encourage or inspire people, you know, that we will overcome the apartheid time, the oppression times. And I think after the 1994 scenario where we overcame the apartheid, there was a need now to kind of like have a music that would relate to the youngsters, a music that would relate to the born frees. That's what we call them. If you were born after 1994, we call them the born frees. Right. So music that would celebrate basically our achievements and basically start up a new life, you know, because now we were over the struggling times. Even though it didn't take only just 1 year, you know, it's been a struggle. I mean, now we've been 25 years in the democracy, but we still feel that there are those small impacts of the, you know, apartheid times, which it's understandable. You know, it will never take 25 years to overcome a period of more than 100 years of oppression, you know. So yeah, it started this great music called Kwaito, which every youngster loved. And
you just listened and you wanted to play?
Yeah. I mean, around that time, I mean, I was still young. I think I was about 7, 8 years old. And I started fiddling around with my dad's piano at home. And I started recording music on radio because I couldn't afford to buy music, this quite of music, but there was shows on radio that I knew that was playing this type of music, and I started recording, obviously using my dad's old cassettes, which I always got in trouble for that, because if I'm over recording, then I would be,
erased.
I mean, I got in trouble for like a lot of times for that, but I think because he also loved what I was doing, and because of his love of music, he shouted me at times, but he never beated me. So yeah, I mean, I started recording this music, and that's where my love of DJing actually came from, because I would record this. I was so much advanced in terms of the music, what was happening. And I had, I think, 3 guys that I was looking up to, who the first one was a team. They owned the first black record label in South Africa, which was very successful, and we still are looking up to it even today. And there was
What's the name?
So that was Khaya Jasmine. So that was a label that was owned by well-known reggae DJ and DJ Oscar Oskido nowadays, and there was a couple of his partners as well. And then there was another one called 999. What I liked about 999 was that this was a single-handedly business, black-owned business, So I always dreamed of also owning my own record label for Cape Town, because another thing within South African music industry, there was always this belief that you need to move to Johannesburg in order to be successful. So now when I came out of prison, in fact not before, even before that, I was always against that, because I never believed that relocating from the city that you live would do any better. But by doing that, you actually are growing the other city that you're going to be growing. You're going to, you are going to be growing the artistry of that city.
Not the one you are.
Exactly.
The one you love.
Exactly. And like, fortunately enough for me, I've seen a lot of big artists like Brenda Fassie, who I grew in front of, being the 2 families of my family and their family were quite close. So I've seen them, growing up and being big people. However, that has never assisted where we come from. Because as much as I said, here in our community, we were lacking these role models to look up to, because we were not relating to them, because they were not based here in
they get a success and they leave.
Exactly. And what that was doing was actually growing the industry of Johannesburg instead of growing the industry of Cape Town. So I think partly of me and my team all starting up our own record label, that brought hope to a lot of guys.
What was the name?
It was 021 Records. 021. So basically the reason why we came with 021 is a dialing code of Cape Town. So we wanted something that would seem local. And also there's a pun around it. It's from 0 to number 1. So I mean, when we started our company, we had nothing. I just came out of prison. My partner had a computer, and I made sure that I downloaded the DAW that I had learned from prison, which a lot of people don't know actually, that I learned how to produce music on a computer while I was serving my sentence in prison. And prior to that, I could only play piano and use my dad's synthesizers.
You were 5 years in prison, super focused on that.
Yeah.
I think sometimes the worst moments are our best opportunities, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Why you ended up in prison?
I mean, I did a lot of bad stuff. I mean, it wasn't the one-off thing. I got arrested quite a number of times, but I think the time that I had to serve my sentence, that was when I also realized that, look, this should come to an end, and I pleaded guilty, because I think that was one of the very most important steps of me changing my life.
It's recognizing and saying yes to the experience.
Exactly.
And what was the most powerful thing you learned in prison?
I think the most powerful thing I learned in prison is that, like my daily life, we were living in a room of plus minus 80 to 70 people in one room on a daily basis. And you can imagine prison, that's where you get all the criminals, different types of criminals that you can come across, when living in one room. And I mean, it's not safe, first of all. And it's just a matter of like, you are there on your own. You need to make sure that you always awake, even while sleeping. you're not 100% sleeping. You know, you sleep. We always say you're sleeping with your one eye, and then your other eye is always open, because it's all different kinds of criminals that you could, you know, think of. And I think having to survive that period showed me that you can survive anything.
It doesn't kill you, make you stronger.
Exactly, exactly. And it made me ready to face any challenges that I could come across in life.
You become an Ultraman. And you finish, and then you build your own label and start playing.
Yeah. So basically, when I came out of prison, I was playing already. Fortunately enough, like my cousin was a DJ as well, my younger cousin. And around this time, bear in mind that the period that I started playing was using cassettes, and I remember when I came out of prison, the DJs were now using the Pioneer CDJs 100s. And I remember the first time I played, I had never touched those, and but I told myself, like, look, I'm given this opportunity to play 1 hour, I'm gonna go for them regardless that I've never touched them. I just need a couple of minutes, then I'll...
And what happened?
I played.
Where it was?
So this was a party at my granny's place, at my cousin's where we lived, and
then
yeah,
love at first sight.
Exactly, exactly. Like, I think it's also it's a matter of understanding the music, because I did understand music. So I think that's one of the reasons why I wasn't scared, you know, of taking the risk of touching the CDJ 100s in front of many people, you know, because I mean, and this is what had made me stronger during my prison times, you know, that I was ready to face any challenge, and I told myself that nothing can overcome, you know,
your will and your determination.
Yeah.
And so it's been a long way, right? How old are you, Fosta?
I'm 32, turning 33. Yeah.
And then you start getting gigs, you start playing all around the city and outside in South Africa.
So basically what happened is that when we started our own label, I think we were still fresh with fresh ideas, you know. We created our label, and then our first 2 songs, we were fortunate enough, I think also because of the approach, what we did is that we created the song, and because we had been knocking on different labels, you know, and we were tired of being turned away, we thought, like, good guys, look, we started our own label, so we don't need these major labels anymore. And we created a method, we drew up a method of us. I will share that method with you in the future so that you see. I mean, we created a method of us, the label, and creating the product, and then after that we had the marketing, we had the promoters. In fact, the market was the answer, but we had the promoters, like, we wrote what we need in order to get to the market. And then we saw that the major labels were a problem, we took them out of the equation. And then the promoters, we took them out of the equation. What was left now was our label and our product and the market. So what we decided is to give it a different approach. We created our first music, and we said, look guys, let's not look for money yet. Let's not look to generate money out of this equation. Let's create this product and make sure that we create our visibility to the market. So we created a demand, basically. So in this way, by creating this demand, all the major radio stations, record labels, or corporate companies, they would look coming for us, because at the end of the day, what you find out is that the radio stations, the brands, corporate brands, we all have something in common, which is the market. So, I mean, if we make sure that we create a demand to the market, we're going to end up having all of these people that we took out of the equation chasing after us.
And without paying commission.
Exactly. And now we can call the shots instead of them telling us what they want.
Yeah, this is, but back in the time was pretty disruptive.
Yeah, it was. And a lot of labels were angry with us. They didn't want us. I remember, like, at some time, a lot of clubs didn't want to play our music because they said our music was junk music, and it was very raw. I mean, our first song was never mastered. It just came straight off the computer, and I remember we actually used a local radio station at Love Live to actually record that. And the first songs that we did, I used computer speakers, you know, because I also felt that we don't really need a proper studio, you know, because at that time it was also expensive, not accessible. And what we felt that was a message that we were singing and the product that we had that was needed by the people. So what we did is that around that time we had Mixit. It was a new thing within, you know, our surroundings. The app Mixit, and the Bluetooth thing was still new. So what we did is that we identified where we could get the market that would fit to our style. And
how did you identify that?
So basically, we kind of like sat down and we saw that we were looking for the young market that we could grow up with in the next 5 years, because we had a long-term plan.
Great loyalty.
So another thing is that we sat down and then we saw that universities around Cape Town, which is 70% of the students in those universities, they're not Cape Townians. So that's when we saw a gap that instead of us having now to fly our music over to Johannesburg, let's use these people that are here.
As a speakers.
Exactly, because what we did is that...
Word of mouth.
Yeah, word of mouth. So what we did is that after creating these songs, we took the songs on the phones, and then every time there was a break in a university, whenever we find a group of guys standing around, we go to them, share the music for free using Bluetooth or Mixit. And then by doing that, come school holidays, when they all have to go home, they automatically spread the song.
And did it work?
South Africa. It worked. After 2 months, that same song was #1 on the national radio.
Really?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Euphonic, who now Temba is on our board of Bridges for Music, he was the first guy that took that song and played on radio without knowing who it was. It was because of the demand. So basically, all now the DJs from Johannesburg, when they were put in Cape Town, there was this disruption song that was playing, and that's how the demand came about, because every time they come to Cape Town, there was this song that they were coming across, and automatically now they would want to take this song and be the first ones.
They were looking for this kind of songs to export them to another cities and another cultures, right?
And then after that, we had one of the top DJs now chasing after us, wanting the songs to be licensed into their albums. And one of the biggest DJs and music producers at the time, who we decided was the right candidate for us to license the song to, was DJ Cleo, and we did that. And then after that, it was, you know, going up. We created more music, which also got well received around South Africa. And that's where actually the brand name of Fosta started flowing, you know.
And why Fosta?
So basically, Fosta means to force things to happen. So it's kind of like a slang word for
things to happen.
Yeah, to force things to happen. So basically, when you say "Dia Fosta," which is in our language, it's like I'm forcing. So basically, that's one of the reasons
that's
why.
Beautiful,
yeah. So most of our namings were all had a meaning.
Nice.
Because my partner was Scow, and Scow was the guy who was studying at the time when we started our company. He was studying accounting. And my other third partner was studying law. So we already had a plan that, look, this is what the business needs. You know, we need someone who's going to do the financials and someone who's going to be doing the law and that stuff. But not everything came out well, obviously, because the guy who was doing law kind of dropped out on law and then started doing marketing, which also worked very well for the company, you know. And yeah, I mean, Scow, he was the accounting guy, but also was a great writer of the music, and each and every song that we did had a certain meaning,
a combination.
Yeah.
And how did you had the first impact with the DJs for Music, with Valentino, which is the founder of DJs for Music?
So I mean, like when Valentino came down for the first time as his personal visit, he got introduced to me by our local tour guide, Sibiwe. And I think Valentino was trying to look for the music scene around Cape Town, and he was looking for people that were quite active. And I think I was the stop at that time, because I was the guy who was dominating, you know, in terms of the music industry as a producer and as a DJ around South Africa, Cape Town mostly. And yeah, I got introduced to Val, and I think the first time we met, we clicked, you know, and then...
Sort of brothers.
Yeah. And then after some time, Val came back again with this wonderful idea, you know, of trying to bring artists, international artists, to host workshops. And for me, as much as I say we clicked, you know, because that was kind of like the plan that O21 had, but now on a more bigger scale, which is a more international scale. And I fell in love with the idea that Val had, and from there we started working. I mean, now it's been 7 years with us knowing each other and British for Music existing in South Africa.
Which is where we are right now. We moved and we are in the
it's a computer lab.
In the computer lab. You can see the chairs that just came now today, right?
Yeah.
And what it means, British for Music in the township of Langa, because township of Langa is undeveloped.
Yeah.
Can we say that, or how will you address?
I mean, we're trying to change. We always have chats with Valentino about that. Yes, I would say it's a slow developed. Slow developed. I mean, but there's another word that we normally use, but it just went out of my mind now. But yeah, I mean, it's just like any other townships, you know, around South Africa. It's quite different than your normal CBD in town. And funny enough, like Langa is one of the oldest townships in South Africa, you know, and we've got a rich history when it comes to music. So I mean, by
I can't wait to go to a party in Langa where they play music.
Yeah,
amazing things.
Sure. So I mean, like with our rich history of musical backgrounds, you know, I remember when the workshop started, people were so excited, you know, and especially when we started mentioning the idea of building such a premises, which was going to be an academy to kind of try and formalize all the music upcoming talents, you know. Everyone loved the idea, you know. I mean, up until now we've been in the building process, but each and every day we get people knocking at the door, asking, when are you guys opening, when are you guys. So I mean, the community has received the British Folk Music brand very, very well, and I think for them, they do understand that it's a stepping stone to something.
It's been tough, right? It's been since 2015 to 2019. It's been 6 years, more than we believed at the beginning.
Exactly.
It's been raising funds, people are helping on the wall. What would you say has been the toughest challenge?
I think the toughest challenge for us has been building. You know,
you had to do like an architect. No.
You know, so I mean, like we never had any experience when it comes to building structures.
Constructor, manager.
Yeah, I mean, our expertise has always been around hosting events, you know, bringing artists and that stuff. But yet again, we had to kind of like move and start getting ourselves more involved in the building instructions, because like I say, you know, once you start depending on other people, you might depend on someone else who doesn't really have the same love as you have for the project. So that's when we saw a need that we actually needed to be more involved, you know, be behind, because we also had some different challenges that we had to face, you know, during the building of the structure. I mean, at some point there was a storm, you know, and we had already started building. The storm kind of like hit the building, and we had to go back, you know, having, I mean, even before we started
raise more money.
Exactly. I mean, even before starting to build, we kind of struggled to get the land, the lease from the government, you know. So it's been some ups and downs, but honestly, I would say it's been a great experience.
What would you say is the deepest learning you take from?
I think that most of the deepest learnings is that you know, believing in what you're doing, and always stay pushing, you know, and persistent. That's what I've learned, you know, and also just try to understand certain situations, because sometimes you put timelines, you know, for yourself, and because we're so expecting too much, we kind of forget to look back and pat ourselves at the backs and say, but you know, we've come so far.
Reward yourself.
Exactly. So I think that we've learned that a lot. That let's not put too much pressure sometimes on us.
Let's not self-sabotage.
Exactly.
And you know, and be unworthy of what we live in, which is well deserved.
Exactly.
And Fosta, what are the next steps for you, for British for Music Academy?
I mean, like now, the next step, I personally can't wait to see the academy or the building serving its course, which is taking, you know, the learnings that we want to give out to the youngsters.
When it's going to be open? When the season or the course starts?
We're planning to start now, first week, like beginning of July. I mean, we've been pushing the dates, and obviously this is depending on the findings and that stuff. Because
with how many people?
We're planning to start with 20. 20? Yeah, 20 local guys.
6 months.
6 months course, yeah, which is part of the 6 months course. 50% is around entrepreneurship, and the other 50% is around creativity. So it's audio or filming, and also
there are even studios here.
Yeah, there's also studios, and also mindfulness programs as well. Which we're going to be introducing yoga, which is quite an exciting part as well. Because
we do next Friday, we do a taste of stand-up.
Yeah, definitely. Because also, like the community that we live in, you know, it's a community that has never been exposed to a lot of stuff, and that's one of my, you know, encouraging parts about, you know, the programs that we are building, that we are bringing. You know, is that we are going to give people the opportunity to experience themselves and make decisions. Because a typical example of yoga, I mean, in the communities that we come from, there's the belief that yoga is like a white person's stuff, which is totally not true, you know. And these are some of the things that people grow up with. They were told, exactly, and they were never given the opportunity to go and experience it themselves, so that they can make their decisions. Yeah. So I mean, I'm very excited about that.
And Fosta, tell us a dream out loud. What is your dream?
A dream is to see us building more Bridges Academy in Berlin and Mozambique, more African countries, basically.
What's your favorite artist?
My favorite artist, it's a difficult one. I've got quite a number of artists. I would select a genre instead of selecting an artist.
Okay,
the genre is jazz music.
Jazz music.
I know it's quite weird because
if you had to choose somebody from jazz music,
I still go with my father.
Oh, wow! And tell us what would you do if you were not doing what you are doing right now?
I think I would still be, you know, focusing too much on the label, trying to inspire other kids. So basically, out of my case studies of running a label, trying to show how other kids could do to start up their own labels, you know, and push more in terms of their talent, and also try to show them to teach others as well, so that there could be more entrepreneurs, you know, in our community. Because another thing is that we don't want to bring up workers, but we want to bring more entrepreneurs
and persons who are rooted in values.
Yeah, exactly.
And Fosta, what would you want to say to anyone who is watching this interview? First, for, you know, Bridges for Music to get enrolled, what would you say? Or come on here, participate? I mean, because a lot of people has already participated and collaborated, but other people doesn't know. It's just the first time they know about this, and for sure about you, but not the last. So what would you say to them?
I mean, what I would say is that you are more than welcome, you know, to assist us in different ways. I mean, you don't necessarily need to be physically here at the school, but you can play a huge role, you know, like other corporate companies have played, like Resident Advisor, Pioneer, DJ, you know, in different ways, creating an awareness of what we are doing, you know, sharing our stories, and create awareness.
And you can even come here, see the school, be part of it, and, you know, do a tour for Langa and enjoy the people, which is amazing.
And also another thing that we are working towards, you know, is to create this as an international hub. So I mean, if you've got nothing to do, come through and experience the courses that we are giving. Be part of that 6 months course, and I'm definitely sure you're not going to only learn the course, but also the cultural exchange as well.
And Fosta, imagine that we're going to feature you, a picture on a billboard in the most watched place in Cape Town. what will be your message in the billboard?
Never stop dreaming, and everything is possible. Just believe in yourself.
Nice. Thank you so much. It's been so inspiring and such a pleasure to have you in these interviews. And where people can find you?
You can get me on my socials. It's Fosta, FOSTA_SA. Throughout all my social media. Yeah.
Can they find you in Mixcloud, SoundCloud?
Mixcloud, SoundCloud, yeah.
It's
all the same handle. It's FOSTA_SA throughout all.
And also,
or maybe just check Google DJ Fosta on Google. Then there you'll get a lot of.
I'm sure I'll catch you in Africa World.
Definitely.
Fosta, anything else you want to add?
I think we've said a lot, and I think you know, as individuals that we can do a lot of different things, you know, by helping. You know, the little that you do as an individual makes a huge difference or a huge change in the world. You know, and I want to encourage people to do a lot. You know, just like Valentino started. You know, having to leave his life and come and start something to assist the community that he didn't know, you know, and I mean, that's a great thing, and the little that we do does make a huge difference, you know, to the next kid. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Fosta.
Cool, man. Thanks for having me.
And thank you for making an impact.
Thanks, man.
So this guy is, as you can see, is a legend, he's a hero, he's a leader, he's a change maker, he's Fosta. This is a Disrupt Everything interview with disruptors, and you can find Fosta in his channels, listen more about their music, ask him if you have any question for Fosta, ask through Twitter or send them in the comments below in the video. This video will be also featured as we were going to record a podcast, but this video has been so deep, it's been so useful and valuable that I'm going to put it also as a podcast in the upcoming episodes in Disrupt Everything podcast series. And if you like this interview, if you like this value that Fosta brings, follow him, connect with him, and maybe recommend this interview to a person who can contribute to the project, donate to the project, and, you know, make an impact, which is the message that Fosta is saying. Don't need to subscribe to this video, but you need to make an impact to the people that doesn't have the same opportunities as you. Así que, and that's it. You've been disrupted.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, welcome, man.
Thanks, man.